What's up, world? Another day, another challenge. And now we face the biggest challenge today. We got the news that Donald Trump will be the president of our great nation. And instead of asking why, let's ask how. And the answer is pretty damn simple. This country has never been a democracy. That's a lie. We pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic for which it stands. Democracy is nowhere in the preamble or the Constitution. You can't scream Democrats and call this a democracy if you pledge an allegiance to the republic. It's in the DNA of our country. And I'm gonna tell you why people of all colors are out rioting on the streets right now. Like Malcolm X said with Goldwater, Trump is not capable of hiding his racist tendencies. And this forces non-racist, minorities, and poor people to start solving their own problems, which could be a good thing. In 2012, there were 241 million people eligible in a voting age, but only 129 million people casted their vote. That's a 53% turnout. 53%! That's an F on every test, everywhere. We live in a society where too many people complain but don't take action. Did you vote? Did your family vote? Did your friends vote? We just want clever tweets, IG posts, cool Snapchats. Yo, I'm here at the voting polls. But did you really vote? How many times have you been in the streets to actually see what the people are going through? How many times have you marched? I've been to every march since the Million Man March. I just know a more effective and immediate use of my voice is through the millions of people who follow and support me. Part of the problem is tens of millions of us aren't even registered to begin with. They may be ex-felons, have residency issues, or they ineligible for some stupid reason or another. Then there's the ones who want to vote, but they don't get interested into the election until the last few weeks, and they miss the deadline to register. Or they just forget. And America makes it so inconvenient to vote. Lines stretched around the corner. Voting is on a Tuesday when people gotta go to work. The biggest problem? Most people don't think their vote matters. If you grow up in a household where you're told that all politicians are crooked, or you're in a poor community where you don't think the government is gonna fix your problems anyway, why would you vote? I mean, we can always try mandatory voting. It worked in Belgium and Australia. I mean, I hear they never really enforced the law, but at least the people think it's expected of them to go and vote. Now we stuck with a known racist, a known womanizer, endorsed by only 3 or 4 newspapers, and the KKK. This man knows nothing about politics, and our vote, or lack thereof, put him in office. I lived in New York in a time where I wanted to celebrate one night and spend a little extra bread, so I wanted to get a hotel room at Trump Towers, and they turned me down because I was black. So a real estate mogul and his butt-naked wife, whose pictures are plastered all over the internet, who stole her speech from Michelle Obama, by the way, are about to make decisions for hundreds of millions of people. I love the fact that Donald Trump speaks his mind, because I love to speak my mind too. Freedom of speech, right? But his reality ain't my reality. His reality is not your reality. This hothead being the voice of our nation terrifies me. When he says, "Let's make America great again," what exactly is he talking about? Because the current day is one of the most stable our economy has ever been. Jobs, education, and healthcare are a lot higher than most points in history. And race relations are more balanced than they've ever been. So what exactly are you talking about, Donald? Great again, meaning a time when there was racism, bigotry, and minorities were treated less than a man? Great again, meaning when women had no say-so or voice? Great again when we had to create a movement for our civil rights? This man is single-handedly dividing our nation. Black folks, Asians, Latinos, any minority. They don't want to kick it with their white friends when their families are going through hell. And the tens of millions of white people who do care, they feel helpless because they're afraid to speak up because they'll look like sellouts to their people. Or they feel helpless because they know they can't do shit about it. You have Jimi Hendrix, Tupac, Biggie, Bob Marley plastered all over your walls, but you have someone who hates all of them about to run your country. And think about this. If we have a disagreement with another nation, his arrogant ass is gonna come out the mouth sideways. And other countries ain't going for that shit. It's gonna be World War IV. Whatever he wants to do, he can now do. Whatever bill he wants to pass, he can now pass. Because Republicans just took the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. If you can literally watch hundreds of millions of people be terrified over a single person, and you still support that person, it says worlds about your character and who you are. Trump supporters wasn't terrified of Hillary. They simply didn't agree with her views and didn't want her to win. But everyone else was terrified of Trump. And that's scary. One of my friends from the South said he overheard a conversation where a white guy said, "I don't care what Donald Trump is talking about. I just don't want another nigger in office." What hurts me the most is seeing how many actual races still live amongst us. And watching as this entire country get scammed by one of the greatest liars in the world. There's a quote on one of my favorite movies, The Usual Suspects, that reads, "The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist." To everybody worried, the good news is we've been through worse, with less education, less opportunities, and less allies. So we will prevail. Now, what they won't show you in traditional media is how our future voted. That means people from 18 to 25. Because everybody who's 14 today will be 18 during the next election. That means our nation will be bigger and stronger with less racists, less bigots, and people with bigger visions. Not closed-minded people who want dark visions of yesterday. To the people who leave those comments talking about why don't you go home? This is my home, ignorant. We built this country on our sweat and tears. Occupier. Listen, y'all, real talk. We come too far to let these goons divide our nation. It's not a race thing. This is a people thing. We got to come together and we got to use our minds, especially the youth. Learn about this stuff because you're going to be the next senators and next presidents, and we're going to push all these folks out of office. We're going to make this a great nation, man. We got to live here. They're not going to come to your house and educate your children. They're not going to teach your kids math. They're not going to discipline your children. They're not going to watch over your family when they're sick. They're going to sit in their offices and things. So we have to stick together as a people. I love all of you, black, white, and everything in between. God bless us all.